Man, this is Deion Dawkins, man, and you're listening to The Scoop on OwlScoop.com. You already should know.
Welcome back, everybody, to The Scoop, OwlScoop.com's weekly podcast. We are on to episode 21 of season 10. I'm OwlScoop.com editor John DeCarlo, joined once again by assistant editor Kyle Gauss, Declan Landis, and Johnny Zawislak. A lot of stuff to get into. It has not stopped being a busy whirlwind of a football offseason with Casey Keeler filling out his staff, recruiting, basketball. Got a lot of basketball stuff to recap, both on the men's end and the women's end. Plenty of mailbag questions to answer as well. A little holiday talk in the mailbag. Declan, is this going to be your last episode with us, or can we squeeze one more out of you before Christmas?
I think this is it, unfortunately.
As we go on, we'll remember.
What if we told you we're not letting you out of your contract?
I would say, where was my contract?
I forged your signature like a young Motown singer.
You signed it. You better get a different lawyer.
Oh, Riley Ravish is going to be on your case.
That's me. If you
forgot about that.
That's me. Declan and Johnny are wearing their OwlScoop hats. Look nice.
So itchy, but a wonderful hat.
Mine just stays up on the wall. Like it's hung up on the wall because of that. It's
in the rafters.
Product.
Yeah.
Mine is also for sale for anybody that wants to Venmo me $199.
That's a bargain.
Plus shipping.
That's a good deal till we get the OwlScoop store running.
That's true.
You know,
which
we
are running into zoning issues with that.
So we are. We had a hard enough time getting the headquarters with the Hall of Fame, but
a lot of people thought it was a mistake for us to go with a brick and mortar storefront, but we got to stay loyal to who we are. Stay true.
Exactly.
We refuse to move into the digital age.
And tomorrow's print edition of The Scoop.
Extra.
We'd have an evening edition. We need a newspaper.
But not a Sunday edition. We'll have an evening edition, but no Sunday paper.
Yeah. A lot of coupons. A lot of coupons in this week's issue. Some good stuff. For some fruit breads for the holiday season. Some panettone. All sorts of good stuff. Anyway,
Costco yesterday. So we're post Thanksgiving. Guess what I still left with?
What?
A turkey?
A pumpkin pie. I left with the lost
Good
leader
move.
pumpkin pie.
No,
Good move.
People speak and sing of pumpkin pie in Christmas songs. I don't think you're good.
That's fair. Yeah. I definitely associate it more with Thanksgiving, but that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
Delicious any time of year.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
You're
Mel
having
Kiper.
a
Mel
pumpkin
Kiper
pie
eats
in August?
a slice of
Yeah,
pumpkin
brother.
pie every day.
He does?
Yeah, every single day Mel Kiper eats pumpkin pie.
Who keeps his hair up?
Who are we to say? We're gonna judge.
Well, again, a lot to get to this week. The Scoop, as it always is, brought to you by Greenspan and Greenspan Injury Lawyers. If you've been injured while on the road or the highway and the crash was someone else's fault, the insurance company will not be on your side. You need us, Temple Law grads, who will fight hard to get the compensation that you deserve. We only get paid if we win, so in Pennsylvania or New York, call us today at 215-261-7359. That's 215-261-7359. And you can find them on the web at greenspans-law.com. That's greenspans-law.com. Declan, on or around this date, is this a special farewell on or around this date?
No, I've given up on special on or around the states, so I put in
You're
the same
stealing your
amount of
feelings
effort.
about this.
I'm just saying that's what happened. So for my last one, we're looking at December 13th, obviously, and Johnny, what do you want to start with?
I feel like we should start with how we first started on around this date with birthdays.
I mean, we've started every week with it, but yes, we'll start with birthdays. On this day in 1925, this American actor and comedian was born, still kicking, by the way. 1925.
Mel Brooks.
No. Very famous physical comedian. Heck of a dancer as well. You wouldn't think of him as one. My favorite role of his is in the film with Julie Andrews. Iconic scene with him in some animated dancing penguins. He had his own variety show at one point in his life. He's got 3 names, kind of
John Wilkes Booth.
insane. Close. Not really.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Dick Van Dyke. Come on, guys.
I think Van Dyke's still alive.
Oh,
Yeah, dude.
he just appeared in a Coldplay video or Coldplay song, by the way.
The 13
That's
listeners
awesome.
were ecstatic.
Hey,
Coldplay's still dropping music.
you down on Coldplay? Yes.
I've never been a Coldplay guy.
I had no idea they were still kicking. Anyway,
What's with the Coldplay? Kyle's entitled to this. What's with you guys?
No, I enjoy Coldplay. I don't know about Declan.
I just didn't know they were still making music.
I think that's fair.
They're not
That's like
like-
if someone told you,
they're not
like, oh,
from,
by the way,
like, the 50s,
Hoobastank's
like-
touring next week. You're like, oh shit, Hoobastank's still out.
I don't know.
I found a reason, and the reason is you.
What if Chumbawamba was going on tour again?
Dude,
you know?
Chumbawamba. Oh, you laugh. If I told you $6 we go see Chumbawamba at the Man, you're there.
And they just
I
played
mean,
Top
what are they
Thumper
gonna
the
play?
whole time.
3-minute concert? Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
what are they gonna
That
do?
was super quick story. That Top Thumper song was huge when I was in college in the late 90s. I specifically remember Kyle has met my old roommate, Todd Price. He played it nonstop at Temple Towers. He went out and bought the rest of their CD. And he's like, I wanted to explore the whole album. God, the rest of it sucks. He's like, I just don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what to tell you. So
I have a similar story where in like the early 2000s, I was like, I wanted to build up my music collection. I pirated the entire discography of Modest Mouse. Turns out it's only Float On. Float On's the only song by Modest Mouse. I had hundreds of songs. I'm like, all these are skips except for Modest Mouse, except
Really?
for Float On.
I would
Didn't
never have
have-
survived the CD era for that reason. Like
I
I just
remember. I feel like I remember listening to some of their other music and it wasn't bad.
Was
No?
it just different versions of Float On? Because I think there were. I think there were different versions.
Float On remix, Float On remix 2.
Float On,
Float On Club
Remix,
like trap remix.
Float On Radio Edit.
In fairness, though,
Float
Float
On,
On was a
Float
great.
and
Float On was a
Reboot.
great song. So like, I haven't written a great song. Good for them. They
No.
wrote a great song.
Since this is allegedly your last episode of The Scoop, do you want to talk about the Christmas album that the Temple News cut?
Which one? Number 1 or number 2?
Tell
Number
Kyle
2
about
didn't really get off the ground, unfortunately.
tell Kyle about what happened last year.
So last year, I was I'd had a moment of inspiration, and I wrote the TTN Christmas song, and it was a
remember this.
beautiful. Yeah, I thought so.
I was
think we
around.
talked about it last
I was
year.
around last year.
I just
Yeah.
can remember. I just can remember if he talked about it on the Scoop.
Yeah.
I think we did. But I wrote. We ended up writing 3 songs. The TTN Christmas song, "Rocking Around the Guardian Goat," which we kept the little goat guy. That he loved to scream, and we wrote a song about him. You actually sang it.
I did, yes.
It was beautiful. And then we wrote "Simply Having a Wonderful Print Weekend," which SoundCloud deemed was too close to the original and struck it
You got
from the
demonetized?
internet.
yeah, it was bad.
No, it just deleted it. It deleted the whole song. And then when my laptop died, I lost the original file.
Oh no.
So we have that one got lost to the ether. And then we wrote a whole bunch of new ones this year, and then we just never had time to record it.
There's still
Here's
time. My calendar shows December 12th. We've got time.
I know, but everybody's going home. It's I mean, we've got a couple days. We probably could figure it out.
What's Rick
I have
Rubin
one
doing
more
right now?
final to do, and then I'm free. So
Got a lot of people. David Foster's available. Got Rick Rubin.
I would kill to get David Foster on the
Brian
team.
Eno.
That would be crazy.
What if
What's the student media singers or whatever we called ourselves? I forget.
David Foster walks in with Kenny Loggins and Michael McDonald?
Well, the name of the album is a very unbiased holiday. So if it ever hits the shelves, be ready for that.
I love it. All right, so we got Dick Van Dyke. We got way off track after that, but I enjoyed the dialogue.
I did as well. It's very birthday heavy anyway. So
Mhm.
there are like 2 more really big birthdays.
There's
and,
a
like,
big one.
There is a really big one. You want to just jump straight? Actually, we're not going to jump straight to that
We're not gonna
because
jump
they're a
straight.
little more
No.
recent.
Mhm.
There's one more before them that you're thinking of.
Yeah.
And of course you would get that one. Like that makes total sense.
Mhm.
On this day in 1967, triple threat. American comedian, musician, and actor was born. Just extremely famous for all 3 of those things. This guy gave you some pretty sound advice in the mid 2000s. Blame it on the goose. Got you feeling loose.
Oh, Jimmy Fox.
Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jamie Foxx.
all right.
On this day in 1989, This American singer, songwriter.
I'm just gonna give you
was
2
born.
hints. 1989 and the number 13.
Bingo. Come
Taylor?
on, John, pull through.
Arguably the most famous person in the world.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I would say at least top 5.
Yeah.
You
He
say
said
it?
it. He said it. Taylor Swift.
Okay, we couldn't hear you. Well
Taylor
done. Taylor
Allison Swift.
Taylor Allison Swift. Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't get that one.
The 13 threw me off. Why 13?
She loves 13. That's like
Yeah.
her number.
Oh.
Yeah.
In all of like her music videos. Yeah. I bet you she'll probably surprise drop like the album of the year tomorrow.
There you go. And then I've got one event for you. On this day in 1862, a bloody engagement of the American Civil War in which Confederate troops were led to victory by General Robert E. Lee over Union forces of Ambrose Everett Burnside was waged. 1862.
Fredericksburg.
Fredericksburg. Well
what
done,
is
Kyle.
what is Burnside's famous for?
Sideburns.
Sideburns, which were originally called Burnsides, but people were like, that doesn't make sense. Let's flip it.
And that was on this day.
That led to like 16-year-old Kyle going through high school with just sideburns to like here. It's like all the way down.
You
Sideburns.
attribute to that or Elvis?
Well, neither.
Or
But
Wolverine.
the fact that it became a popular facial hair
Oh, that's fair.
is because of him.
That's
For
fair.
the Burnsides.
Like some Martin
meant for you
Van Buren mutton
personally.
chops.
But they weren't mutton chops. I would trim them here, like the inside. They were still just like the length of this, but they would just like stop here.
That's really long.
Yeah, they were long.
That's
Longer than
like
my
almost
brother's?
chin.
Yeah. I wasn't even gonna bring up Jeff. Yeah, John's brother's still rocking some heavy sideburns.
That's awesome. That's awesome. John, point to where? Where do they stop?
Not like here.
Wow. That's
If he
tough.
did the point, he'd go like full like Larry the Cable Guy. If he like brought in the point a little bit.
Yeah.
With the right pair of sunglasses, you could look like Wolverine.
Ooh, that's true. That's
Well,
what
my
every
bro-
that's what every 15-year-old boy in the early 2000s wanted to be. But it just didn't work out.
Did you try that, Kyle?
Did I try to be Wolverine? No, I never did the point. Though occasionally when I grow my beard out and I trim it into something to make my wife like offended, like I'll do like a full mustache or like something like that. It's gotten to the point where I'm so inconsequential within my own house that like it'll take a while for her to notice if I'm doing like comedically bad facial hair.
I'm so inconsequential. My own house is
That's
amazing.
true. Like I have a dog, I have 2 kids, I have a wife. I am the fifth being in my house.
It's amazing.
If you guys want to stay up to date on the latest updates to Casey Keeler's staff, we got you covered on the OwlScoop football message board that we're going to keep posting stuff there for our subscribers. Kyle posted a little bit of scoop earlier today that you can check out. Over the next few weeks, we'll keep you posted on roster updates, portal additions, portal departures. A lot of the portal departures you've been able to see. We got
Breaking
another
news.
one?
Oh,
No. Well, Chris Dietrich, Temple quarterback, transferred out, has committed to. Any guesses? Any guesses?
Villanova.
literally no clue.
Bucknell.
Ah,
Wow. Okay.
I would have thought he was going to go to
Interesting.
Monmouth. Thought that was a appropriate destination, but Bucknell.
well, best of luck, Chris Dietrich.
Yeah, good luck. Was
Yeah.
here about 7 months.
Sort of second.
Committed, decommitted,
Yeah.
recommitted, transfer portal. Bucknell.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about this more in the mailbag as well. But again, a lot of you have been able to see some of the transfer portal departures. The young offensive tackles, Melvin Ciani, Kevin Terry are in the portal, Taekwon King's in the portal, Jamel Johnson, Therese Worthy. Again, we'll see if these guys stay in the portal. A couple of them could come back. We'll see. Again, Kyle has threads posted, or in one thread on our board, links to the arrivals. There haven't really been any arrivals yet. Departures. So again, we have everything you need on the OwlScoop football message board. Right. We'll have more football conversation in the mailbag later on in the pod. Let's talk some Temple women's basketball. Diane Richardson's squad posted an impressive 76-62 win over Villanova to claim the first Big Five Classic championship on Villanova's home floor at the Finneran Pavilion last Friday. Tiara East finally had the game we've been waiting for, 26 points, a couple of timely threes. Tristan Taylor had 15 points. Tariana Gary had 14. Kayla Turner had 10 off the bench. Now they've got a very tough West Virginia team coming in on Sunday at 2 p.m. The Mountaineers are 9-1, 15th in the AP poll, 13th in the coaches poll. Johnny, Declan, talk to us about this team. A nice feather in their cap to beat Villanova. Some good vibes for them heading into, obviously would be a huge upset win for them if they can pull it off this Sunday. But what would you see from last Friday? Just a cool moment for them to win the first Big Five Classic championship, to do it on Villanova's home floor.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bad first half. They instantly went down 9-0, then battled back. They had 13 turnovers in that first half and then 2 in the second. It was just kind of a tale of getting their stuff together at halftime. I know Denise Dillon, Villanova's head coach, said in the post game that they kept Temple in, and that's why they lost. I feel like Temple kind of hung around a little more than Nova let them in the game. It seemed like there was a lot of good defense throughout. But I think the biggest thing was getting that depth to fire up a little bit in that second half and taking that pressure off of Tiara. And then you started to see Tiara feel a little more comfortable. I know we were watching it, and it kind of felt like the offense in the first half stagnated. And then the second that they had like 2 or 3 options that were going to be able to score, when Kayla came off the bench and started scoring a little bit, when Tristan felt a little more comfortable getting to the basket, taking her shots when available, when Terriana started knocking down shots, they all started getting into a little bit of a rhythm. And I think that's what makes this team dangerous. The only thing now, talking about the Mountaineers coming in this weekend, is the Mountaineers are one of the best offenses in the country.
Really good guard play from them, right?
Very good guard play, which is, it suits this team a little bit better, because something that Temple struggled with in that first half especially was its front court defense. So if you have a guard heavy team, it helps you a little bit matchup wise. But their biggest thing is they cannot start out slow on Sunday. If they start out slow, it's over. They got to match pace with West Virginia, and the stuff that we've talked about where, you know, maybe they take a quarter off or they struggle for a quarter and then they have to dig out of the hole that they put themselves in. If they do that against a team like West Virginia, it's going to be over very quickly. This is a team that has been dangerous. They haven't faced a ton of quality opponents, but they have 2 or 3 really solid wins so far this year. So I think Temple has a shot, but like I said, it's got to be, you know, early and often, scoring, feeling comfortable, playing good defense. That's the only way that they come out with this win on Sunday.
West Virginia has forced 27.2 turnovers a game.
Yeah, it's nuts.
That's insane.
It is. It is.
JJ Quinterly, their 5'8" senior guard, is their leading scorer, 18.6 points per game. She's one of 3 guards averaging double-figure scoring, so they pressure teams. Johnny, you think they can pull off the upset?
I think it's possible. I don't want to sit here and say like, oh, like I definitely believe that they can do it. Like it's not like they're firing on all cylinders right now. They're not coming into this with a full-blown momentum. Like the Villanova win was great, but they've had their ups and downs leading to this point. So I think it's possible. I think, like Declan mentioned, they can't come out slow. They have to come out firing on all cylinders, and that's something that they've struggled with. And I think as important as the guards are when it comes to the defensive side, I think you need to have a strong performance from your forwards and Amaya Oliver and Nissa Rivera. They need to come out and they need to be a focal point on the offense, because like we just mentioned, this West Virginia team forces a lot of turnovers. So if they can find a way to get them work the ball inside and get scores close to the basket, I think that's the most important thing. And they've had good games this season. They've played well. They haven't played well. I think the big thing for them is going to be helping in the offensive output, because it isn't going to be a 28-point game from TR East. Like you're going to need your forwards to tack in points and help you down low.
Well, we'll see. Sunday at 2 p.m., the Temple women's basketball team takes on a top 20 West Virginia team. Again, 15th in the AP, 13th in the coaches poll. Have that right?
I believe so, yeah.
So biggest game to date in terms of non-conference play, of course, would certainly be a nice feather and Temple's cap. Obviously a team that had a share of the regular season conference championship last year and then fell a little short in the American Athletic Conference tournament. This win would go a long way, of course, in padding their non-conference resume. So we'll see what happens there. Let's talk about this Temple men's basketball team. Did we ever think that we would feel as iffy as we would? If you look at the final score of 110-81, 110 points looked nice, but they gave up 81 points to Holy Family. if you know by now, a lot of teams are scheduling non D1 programs. I think we can get over that. Temple has 3 really big games coming up starting this weekend at Hofstra. They play a pretty good Hofstra team, a really good Davidson team, and a really good Rhode Island team. So their schedule is legit. Obviously, they finally pulled away on Tuesday night against Holy Family, but giving up 81 points to a D2 team, not a great look. Temple allowed Holy Family to shoot almost 48% from the floor, 50% from three-point range. They tightened that up a little bit more in the second half. Tyree Kettner, the son of former UMass big man, the late Larry Kettner, who was a good player at Roman Catholic. Tyree Kettner, 6'8", 265, started his career with Dwayne Killings up at Albany. So he has D1 ability, but he had 23 points on 10 of 19 shooting, 9 rebounds. We're going to play a clip in a little bit from Adam Fisher where he says they had no answer for him. And I would wholeheartedly agree with that. They tried 4 different guys on him. Jason Shields had 16 points, knocked down 4 threes. Again, most of that came in the first half. A high-level D2 recruit had some low D1 recruiting attention coming out of Scranton High School, but they hung around too long, I think, for everyone's liking, including Adam Fisher. I think the players get that. I'm not sure that they do just yet. Adam Fisher knew after the game that they didn't defend well. Here's Adam Fisher when I asked him about their defense and how they can tighten it up.
They move the ball. They run great stuff. They run a lot of point action, which Charlotte runs. So we had to make sure our guys understand that. And I think they did to start, and then I think we got a little bit, too cool. And then they come back, and then we got to turn it back on. But we need to play Temple basketball for 40 minutes. We haven't quite done that yet. Probably in Trenton was the best example of it. But we need to play a complete game.
How do you tighten up like those 2 cool moments when they happen?
It's a great question. Look, we made practice very competitive last week. Then you got to be smart, right? You play Saturday, Tuesday, so you come in Sunday, and it's really a walk-through film. And then yesterday you compete, but you're also down 2 guards. So now you're trying to figure out, move pieces around and this and that. How hard can you go? How long can you go with the game? But we got to keep showing film. We got to keep showing film, and we got to keep being more connected. And the guys know it. They can tell now when they come to the huddle. I think early in the year there was some, I call it what are you talking about? Now they know, I know that was me. I gotta switch up higher. So when that comes from them, that's huge. So we'll tighten it up. We'll get there.
So one good thing that came out of Tuesday night was the play of Aiden Tobiason. Obviously, since we last recorded, Temple just got overpowered, outclassed, anything you want to say, by Villanova in the 3rd place game of the Big 5 Classic. The game was not even close. Aiden Tobiason provided a little bit of a spark in that game. 5 steals. He played passing lanes well. If Adam Fisher got what he thought he was going to get from Shane Dezzoni, Quante Berry, Jameel Brown is out right now due to personal reasons. He was on the bench Tuesday night and did not play. I think they would have liked to have redshirted Aiden Tobiason, not due to a lack of talent, but you can see now that they have to play him. I mean, he plays as hard. Maybe he's playing harder than anybody on the team right now. He's got great length. He can shoot the living hell out of the ball. And got his first career start. Yeah, 18 points, a career high. Just like I said, seemed to be playing harder than anybody else. How did you guys feel about that game after Tuesday night? They won, but I think would have been a better looking final score would have been like 75-45 in my opinion than 110-81.
No, I don't disagree, and especially because it felt like early on to halfway in that first half, you could tell that Temple was clearly, obviously they're going to be the more talented team, but it looked like they were going to run away with it with the sequence of the Steve Settle block, and then they had a dunk the next possession. It felt like they were going to run away with it, and then they made a couple substitutions, and then they started to kind of let them chip away at it. I mean, obviously the defensive aspect is worrisome because, letting up 81 points to a Division II team is not good at all. There were just times where they're getting inside or they're getting easy paths to the basket, and you're like, what's going on? And I don't know if it was like a kind of just lackadaisical approach or if it was actually kind of Temple just not being good defensively. I think that's something that is very worrisome. But I like you mentioned, Aiden Tobiason is a player that, he's someone that we've talked about before he even got to Temple, and someone that we said was going to be really good. And it's clear that, not to toot our own horn, but I like it's clear that he plays the hardest. He's I in my opinion, their best on ball defender out of anyone on the team. And I think if even just watching his footwork, I mean, the way he goes around screens, he's putting spin moves on defenders to get back to his player. Like he is the best defender and he can shoot the living hell out of the ball. And I think he's going to be someone that needs to play going forward if Temple wants to be competitive and wants to stay in games defensively.
I agree with everything Johnny just said, but the main thing that really kind of sticks out to me is this is a Holy Family team that scored 49 points the game before.
Yeah.
They scored 49 points against Jefferson. And like you can chalk it up a little bit of like they kind of corrected to the mean where like they couldn't shoot the three at all against Jefferson, and in the first half against Temple, they really did like shoot well from beyond. The Even if you could like just want to chalk that up as like whatever that happens and put that to the side, the concerning part to me is they got out offensive rebounded by that team.
Yeah.
Like again, like it's like that's the thing that I'm like I wonder how correctable that is. Like
Mhm.
if you're telling me, oh, they look lackadaisical on defense and they're not playing passing lanes and Aiden Tobiason is the only one playing hard and stuff like that, I'm like I feel like you can coach that and you can like correct that. I am a little concerned about the season's long-term prospect
Mhm.
if they're unable to get any presence down low. They're just have to chalk up that every game they're going to be out rebounded. Like that's concerning to me. Babatunde picks up 2 fouls pretty early, only plays 7 minutes, goes from there. So obviously that didn't help. But that's you started this segment by saying how does that make you feel like the long term aspect of this? That gives me pause about the long term part of this team.
They only got Holy Family, that is, they only got 6 second chance points out of it. But again, against
Sure.
better teams, we've
They had
seen that
13
turn
offensive
more.
rebounds. That's all I
13
get.
off, but like it's just prolonged
Mm-hmm.
possessions where you're like, why do they still have the ball right now? Zion Stanford, hey, 25 points in the game. And I don't think we're being nitpicky here, but man, later on in the game, there was that one drive where he just took the ball in just casually and just got the ball pushed right back in his face. Like that, guys on D2 teams can shoot. Where
Right.
the difference is the physicality of it and the size. Tyree Kettner is a big dude, but this team is tricky and interesting to assess because last year they lost 10 games in a row. Who would have thought that we would have been talking about them playing for a conference championship? They are allowed to get better. Maybe Dylan Battie gets better. Maybe Baba gets better. We'll see how the integration of Lynn Greer III helps. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, just a concerning effort on Tuesday.
Every time Kettner touched the ball, he had an open look, and that's a problem. Whether he was creating it himself or he was just open. Like there, it was rough communication. It was. I mean, it was tough to watch. And I mean, when we talk about like where we were thinking this team was at the beginning of the year versus now, we were also talking about guys like Matteo Piccarelli, who
Right.
was, I mean, just a terrible sequence for him where he airballs that three. I was sitting up. It was my first game as a fan since freshman year, so I was sitting up in the cheap seats, and we saw him shoot that ball, and it was just out of his hands, off trajectory, and like landed in front of the. Like I've never seen an airball like that. It was ugly, and then to have, I mean, if you want to tell your side of the story,
Yeah,
Jared.
yeah. Because not only the air ball, it was the defensive aspect of it
Yeah.
after, because he came back and he completely lost his defender, didn't know where he was on the court, and his defender drained a three, and Fish instantly took him right out of the game.
Yep.
He went to the tunnel, didn't go to the huddle, and then had an the back and forth with Bobby after the fact, and then he never saw the court again. So I don't know exactly what happened there.
Hey,
but-
look, I get that. Like you were a guy that started most games last year. You're playing like 20, 25 minutes a game. You're probably told coming back, like, yeah, your role is going to be smaller, but there's definitely still a role for you. And then, like, all of a sudden you are the 11th dude on the bench. Like, I get that frustration, but like program wise, it's more beneficial for those minutes to go to Aiden Tobiason and Jameel
Mhm.
Brown and
Yeah.
Jamal Mashburn than it is to put Matteo Piccarelli out there. But yeah, I definitely understand that frustration, I guess.
Yeah.
Not even program wise, they've earned it. Like they are
Sure.
outplaying him.
Yeah,
Every-
I think
like,
he is
and-
I think he is the type of player that needs to like play to be productive. Like I think he's the type of guy, whether it's mentally or just like game wise, to say like, okay, come in cold and shoot two threes is
Mhm.
a little hard for him. I think he needs to be the guy that attempts, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then sees a couple of them go down. But that's not his role on this team.
Yeah, it was just a bizarre sequence. As Johnny said, I think he got pulled just as much for you're going to miss a shot. Anybody can airball a shot, but for him to just completely lose track of his defender, that was quick. And Mateo's a pretty easygoing guy. I've never really seen that happen before, but yeah, he was clearly ticked. And then Bobby kind of just gave him the whole like, yeah, we're not going to let this happen in public right now. Again, I did ask Adam about. He kind of downplayed it, said, I really didn't see it. I'll talk to my staff about it afterwards, but I'm sure it was addressed. Moving forward, they get two big pieces back onto the team. Chris Clark and Lynn Greer, as you all know, both had to serve 9-game suspensions due to different NCAA infractions. The NCAA infractions that Lynn Greer incurred happened while he was at St. Joe's. Chris Clark's were related to improper benefits to student athletes. Nothing outlandish. Chris is a really good dude and a really good coach. And I asked Adam after the game. Adam was asked about, a couple of times about what it will mean to have Chris Clark back on the bench and, of course, to have Lynn Greer back at the point. He said he doesn't know if he will start Lynn Greer. Obviously, Chris has not been able to be at the facility. I think we've talked about that before. Lynn has been able to practice with the team. You'll hear Adam here talk about how he was giving them scout team looks, and then they've kind of just been integrating him more and more and more. Talk about this after the audio here. I don't know that he's going to be a savior for him, but probably the strongest on-ball point guard and distributor they have. But here's Adam Fisher talking about what it will mean to have Chris Clark and Lynn Greer back on Sunday when they play Hofstra and beyond.
First of all, it's going to be great to have Chris. Chris is an amazing father, an amazing husband, a great coach, a huge part of this program. And we've missed him, right? 37 days. 37. He's back tomorrow. He'll probably be in the office at 4 a.m. knowing him. So we're really excited to have him back. And Lynn's been practicing. So now it's a shift, and we started this shift at the beginning of this week. He's off the scout team. He wasn't scout team for this. He was, boom, second group, go get reps, right? First group, mixed him in there, go get reps. Shoot around, same thing today. So we wanted him to start that mental approach now. But it's going to take time, right? You have a guy that hasn't played in 9 games competitively. So now you got to ease back in. It's not like, poof, you can turn a switch and he's going to be phenomenal. And we told him that. Just go out and play hard. Play, defend, rebound. Do what you do and then ease back in as we keep building this. Our goal is to play our best basketball as we get to conference and then continue through March.
Sort of look different.
Haven't decided. We'll see what we do in practice. And I know it's a coach talk answer, but everything's been competitive. Like Aiden started because he competed. We thought the best and he earned it.
How tough was it to be away from Chris? Because he couldn't be here.
Miserable.
Really
Miserable.
Right?
I'm be honest with you, miserable. He's part of our family. It's like not talking to a family member for 37 days. Give him a big hug tomorrow and then tell him to get his butt back to work. His vacation's over.
If you had to walk fans, what changes with him on the bench in terms of like offense, defense? I know it's kind of obvious because what does he literally bring beyond the experience and institutional knowledge?
Yeah. We had to adjust scouts. The way we adjust scouts, I thought Mike Cougar did a great job. Mike's our defensive coordinator, and then Bob and Chris switch off on scouts. So that's the first adjustment we had to make. Coach Jordan and Coach Cougar had to alternate scouts. So I thought, that'll be something really good. And I think Chris has a great way with our student athletes. He's got a great energy about him. He knows when to hug them and when to push them. And you need that on our bench. But these guys have done a great job, right? We're undermanned staff, and they've been phenomenal. Andrew Ortelli, Khalif Wyatt, obviously Coach Huger, Coach Jordan, Jimmy, our ops guys done a great job. Our GAs have really stepped up. Seth Needle, right, and Sam have done an amazing job. Our strength coach, A-Sun, Royal, everybody had to do a little bit more. And that's what we met about when this happened. Everybody's got to do a little bit more, and everybody has chipped in.
So as we mentioned before, this is the start of a really tough 3-game stretch for Temple. Hofstra's 8-3 as of now as we're recording this. They've won their last 3. They're 3-0 at home. Then the Owls host Davidson next Wednesday. Davidson 7-2, and then they play a 9-1 Rhode Island team next weekend up at Springfield in the Hall of Fame Classic. But before we head over to the mailbag, obviously I think we can spin this around and say yes, having Lynn Greer back will help. It can't hurt him. What do you think comes of having Lynn Greer on the floor? I think this is going to be really interesting to watch on Sunday and beyond. You've got a guy like Jamal Mashburn Jr., who, again, I still think they're trying to figure out. They did it offensively against Holy Family. They got Jamal Mashburn going, although he started slow. They got Zion Stanford going. but we've talked already about how poor the defensive effort and rebounding effort was. It's another piece in the rotation. It's probably going to take certain guys off the ball. I mean, even Aiden Tobiason was bringing the ball up the floor. Quante Berry did come back. We should mention that. Played on Tuesday night. Played pretty well. In your eyes, guys, what's it going to mean to have Lynn Greer back?
Having someone, I mean, because I think the biggest thing with the Villanova loss was with Quante Berry being out last minute. You were without Lynn Greer. Jamal was in charge of bringing up the ball, starting the offense, facilitating, and then also finding a way to score
Yeah.
if no one else, because Zion wasn't going early. Settle scored a little bit early, but it was mostly the offensive output was just put on to Mashburn. So he had to bring up the ball, facilitate, and score. So I think having Lynn back, regardless of his actual offensive output, I think takes a lot off for Mashburn. I think it frees him up to play off ball and not have to do everything on the offensive end while also playing defense. I think it takes a lot of the responsibility off of him. And we've seen what he's done already. He's already one of the top scorers in the country. I think when you take him off the on ball responsibilities for the entire game, I think you're going to see him freed up a little bit and be able to play a little bit better with some responsibilities off his shoulders.
All right. So again, Temple plays next on Sunday at Hofstra against an 8-3 Hofstra team. We'll talk about them a little bit more here in the mailbag. Right, as he does each week, Mike Greenspan of Greenspan and Greenspan Injury Lawyers provides a weekly tip for drivers on the road. We'll hear his tip this week to keeping everyone safe on the road, and then we'll hop into the mailbag here.
Are you a college student or know someone who is? Well, then if you are, you know that this is a very stressful time. Finals period. Everybody is staying up late, studying, not getting a lot of sleep, and under a lot of stress to succeed. So for the rest of us, reach out to your college student, see how they're doing, offer them your support, and make sure, remember, they can get through it. Yes, it's dark, yes, it's tough, and yes, it's stressful. But you know what? When you have people behind you who can tell you can do it, it makes a big difference in your lives. So let's stay safe out there and let's support those students.
All right, first question in the mailbag here comes from one of our longtime subscribers. The screen name is D Thomas 96. This is basketball related. Why can't this team seem to run offensive sets 9 games in? One thought from me is ISO King Mashburn. I know he's a bucket, but it's not great for team success. It's not like he's young either, so no excuses regarding learning curves. I will add, I noticed Zion Stanford and others frustrated when Mash hogs the ball. And this kind of just points a little bit to what we were just talking about, what Johnny was just talking about. I don't want to read too much into body language. If Zion is getting frustrated, I don't know that he is. Everybody's got stuff to work on this team. Sure, there are times where Jamal Mashburn Jr. is playing some ISO ball, but there are times where he really thrives doing that. To get to the root of the question, why can't this team seem to run offensive sets 9 games in? I'm not trying to make him out to be a savior, but a player, a key transfer that they were counting on has missed the first 9 games. We will see what happens when he gets integrated. They've tried different guys handling the ball, distributing the ball. I think it's an issue, but I think this is going to be a really interesting team to cover and follow over the next few weeks. They have concerns. I'm more concerned about the defense and the rebounding for this team than I am the offensive sets. I'm not saying that the offensive sets are perfect, but to me, the defensive effort, the rebounding effort is more concerning because you're not really getting reinforcements there. You have someone that you can tangibly throw in the lineup and Lynn Greer III and see what happens. On the other side of it, on the front court and rebounding is a joint thing. You're relying upon Dylan Battie. There's a mailbag question about him later. You're relying on Dylan Battie, Babatunde Duradola. They tried Mokita in the game, didn't have much of effect. You just have to rely on those guys to get better. I think the offense could and should get better with Lynn, but I'll turn this over to you guys to hear what you have to say in answering this question.
Even from just a sort of non-basketball perspective, it doesn't surprise me that the guys that are in the backcourt with Jamal Mashburn are hesitant to maybe force the issue of like, you need to move the ball. Like, right, you're talking about Aiden Tobiason, who 6 months ago was hoping to win prom king. Jamal Quante Berry, who is just now starting to really play like legitimate basketball at the college level for the first time in a while. Like I get that like younger guys are going to take a back seat to somebody who's been a prolific scorer and like he probably knows what this offense needs more than I need, etc. And that's not going to be an issue with Lynn Greer III. He's played a lot of college basketball, has had games where he dishes 8, 9, 10 assists a game. I feel like just having that more veteran presence back there has an effect on a guy like Jamal Mashburn to be like, okay, no, that guy is calling for the ball. He wants us to run the set. He's a more traditional point guard than I am. I'm taking a back seat in this. The other side of this is they've asked Jamal Mashburn to be a more ball dominant
They have.
guard for these first 9 games. So like, I understand the question is like no excuses about learning curve. There is a learning curve for him in that role of the game because he has not been that guy in his first 4 years of college basketball. And now he's being asked to be that guy in his 5th year. I know it's not what people want to hear. There is a learning curve to that.
Yeah, not much else to say other than Zion is also a very ISO heavy
Yeah,
player.
that's
too.
why you using Zion as the example in this question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
also,
because that's
he
what
gets
Zion
frustrated a lot as well. I mean, just visibly, like he'll turn the ball over and throw his arms up, or like a bad play will happen and he'll throw his arms up. So I don't know that it's necessarily like, you at point A to point B type thing. Like I think it's just he's a very expressive player when he's out there. I don't know that it's necessarily he's exactly frustrated, but yeah. I mean, I would say like 75% of his opportunities come from ISO ball.
Zion Stanford is an immensely talented basketball player. He is also very much a 19-year-old boy.
Yeah,
A 19-year-old guy. Like there are times like
there's
that,
nothing
right?
wrong
Like
with that.
no, there's nothing wrong with that. Like that is what an underclassman in college is. So like there are gonna be moments where he's gonna grow out of that.
Next mailbag question here comes from the screen name Chi-Town Owl. Question is, what do you think this team's biggest strength and biggest deficiency are? 9 games in the season for the deficiency. What would you do to improve this area if you were Coach Fish? What do you guys think their biggest strength is?
I think if this was a 2K team, this like if this was like a basketball like video game team, there are so many different ways to score with this team. Like legitimately, like they have like some really like impressive ball dominant guards. They have depth at the guard position. Steve Settle can be a mismatch depending on what it is. Like from a video game perspective, I feel like you could really do damage with this team. I think they just have a lot of offensive versatility that maybe they're just now starting to scratch the surface of.
Biggest weakness? I think we know it, right?
Yeah,
I
the
was
front
gonna say
court,
defense.
I was thinking front
interior
court.
defense,
Well, front
offensive
court,
rebounding.
Yeah.
Yeah, defense in general, period. Just defensive effort. Perimeter D hasn't always been great. You heard in the clip.
Communication as well. There are a lot of moments where people get lost on defense.
Yeah, you heard Adam Fisher talk about it earlier in the clip that we played. There's a little bit more of that, like, I did my part kind of with the rebounding. He obviously, a coach is going to say this, it'll get better. He has evidence to see that things have gotten better. I'm not faulting him for saying that, but for the deficiency, what would you do to improve this area if you were Coach Fish? I don't know what else other than to say to practice, 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 look at film. There's no 6'8" wing that's coming back from an injury who's going to be this great rebounder and lengthy defender for you. It's just getting more reps, more practice work, more film for everybody. I know that's a very bland and boring answer, but I don't know. I can't think of anything else to say on this front.
You know, it's funny is defensively they tried that a little bit against Villanova. Like they had like with Settle, like they had Steve Settle come up and be like, "You're guarding the on the ball like point guard at the time." So they've definitely thrown different looks out there. It's just the most successful they were defensively against Nova was, at least as far as Jameer Brickus went, was put Aiden Tobiason on him and see what
He
happens.
even turned
So,
Dixon over a couple times too.
yeah, that was an impressive performance from him.
Yeah.
Because Dixon's like 37 years old, and it's just he might be the most dominant basketball player in the nation. Like legit,
Yeah.
he's just insane.
Yeah.
He could score everywhere.
Next mailbag question here comes from the screen named Melly. Is there a reason why we saw so little of Dylan Batee in the Holy Family game? I thought would be a decent time to get him some playing time. Fair question.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all.
Yeah,
I thought
no, I agree.
I thought they protected him against Nova. Like we don't want to put you up against Eric Dixon. Like have him just get bodied. I thought Holy Family would be here, go play 20 minutes and score 20 points.
Kettner could body him. He was bodying everybody. I mean, Tyree Kettner had some crafty like duck and like slipping up and under drop step, like old school moves that worked. But yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. I don't know what Dylan Batee was showing them in practice ahead of the game. I don't know if it's not something that we did ask Adam. I'd love to ask him about it in retrospect. Maybe it's one of those things where Adam would have said, yeah, in retrospect, I would have liked to have gotten him some more minutes. Maybe they were seeing something during the game that they didn't like. Great question. Next question comes from our friend Javon Edmonds, former OwlScoop staffer,
Wow.
checking in. Is there any indication that Lynn Greer starts at point guard once he returns? That team needs someone to organize this offense and make life easy on MASH. Earlier, Adam Fisher did say he's not sure. Everything's going to be earned. My educated guess would be that they bring him off the bench, but I don't know. That's just a hypothesis more than anything. There's the other side of me, even as I'm saying it out loud, where he says to himself, you know what, we're going on the road. I'm not trying to make, you know, Hempstead, New York, Fog Allen Fieldhouse, but they're going to play on the road. Hofstra hasn't lost there yet. Maybe Fish does say, Lynn, you have experience. You've done this before. I'm starting you. Could totally see that. He did not say definitively, Javon, the other night, whether or not he's going to start him. There might be a little bit of gamesmanship there, too.
My gut tells me he doesn't start the first game, starts by the second or third. Fighting Speedy Claxtons.
Yes.
Love Speedy Claxton.
Who else coached at Hofstra? Kyle, you know this.
Jay Wright.
All right.
Did you know today I actually was scrolling my TikTok while I moved my bowels, and I saw Carmelo Anthony went on Matt Barnes' podcast and said he wanted to go to Villanova, but Nova already had a guy at his position for that class. That guy was Curtis Sumter, so ended up being a pretty good 4-year player. But Carmelo Anthony almost went to Villanova.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Dan Leibovitz was recruiting him pretty hard when he was whatever high school he was at in Baltimore before he went to Oak Hill.
Towson.
Yeah, and they had a decent relationship with him, but
And then he goes to Oak Hill and he says he's like people wouldn't go to games, scouts would just come to practice because that was a better indicator of your talent, like how you competed in practice against that roster than whoever you were playing.
Were loaded. I think they had 8 or 9.
Yeah, D1 guys.
Justin Gray, Deshauna Jop, the African center that was good. They were so loaded. Next question here from Twitter, RealBird58. Sounds like Ike Reese. Maybe Ike Reese is a scoop listener now. Any word on what coaches have been hired? I know Keeler said the other day defensive staff was wrapped up and offensive staff is almost done. He mentioned that on WHIP, Temple Student Run radio station. So nice job with the interview there, guys. Again, we mentioned this at the outset of the pod. We have been posting some scoop on a couple of assistant coaches that have been hired. So RealBird58, I would encourage you to subscribe. Check out the information that we have passed along there. Next question comes from Off the Hook 3 on Twitter, 2-part question. I feel like we may be giving Casey Keeler too much credit. He inherited a very good UDEL program from Tubby Raymond. Are we reading too much from his time there? I don't think so. I mean, no, the guy, he did take over a very good Delaware program from the guy who coached him. I'm not disagreeing with that, but what he did do was completely change. The people call the wing tee the Delaware wing tee because of Tubby Raymond. You still have to change that, recruit to it, revamp the roster. I would not undersell that part of it. I think you can debate back and forth like, hey, was this a good hire? I think it was a good hire. If you wanted Elijah Robinson, I hear you on that. I think that's an interesting conversation to have, but are we reading too much from his time at Delaware? I don't think so. The guy won a national championship. He developed Joe Flacco. I think he's just got too many good things working for him there. This seems like, I don't know.
I would say 2 things. I would say, one, he did it with Rowan. Rowan had just had a good season before he came in, but they had never gone as far as he did. All of a sudden they win. They'd had 1 double-digit win in the history of their program. He does that 7 of 9 times. They go to Delaware. Yes, Tubby Raymond, a legend, a Hall of Famer, had established things. He was on the downward trot. They won 4 games the year before Casey Keeler took over. They're in the national championship 2 years later. Sam Houston State, same thing. Willie Fritz had done things there. They were successful there. He comes in, reels off 4 straight double-digit wins. They end up winning the national championship 3 or 4 years later. If he was like a Jeff Collins, where he was only in a place for 2 or 3 years, and you were just like, well, he's winning off of this so-and-so, that's one thing. He stayed at each one of these places for, Rowan was 9 years. Delaware was 12 years. Sam Houston State was, 8, 9 years. The cycles had repeated themselves so many times that I definitely, I think it's a fair question. I appreciate the question, but I wouldn't agree with it. I think that he's shown longevity in these situations.
I was just going to say, even what he did at Rowan was really impressive. I was working in Vineland at the Daily Journal when he was down there, and I think South Jersey has gotten better for football back then. I mean, if there was anybody good, especially in the Cape Atlantic League, a little closer to Philly in the Olympic Conference, whatever, they were very easily going D1, even if they were over recruited. He was getting things done at Rowan. I think he said this the day he was hired. We recruited locally. It's not like we had this monster recruiting budget.
He
He
says
re-
because they could get him in-state tuition, right?
yeah,
That was the
yep,
whole thing.
exactly. Could get him in state tuition, and he was finding like wide receivers from South Jersey, Central Jersey schools who are like good track players, and they developed consistently. But that wasn't, it was a solid area to recruit, but it's not like he was recruiting Western PA. I'm probably pissing off some people in South Jersey when I say this. Programs like St. Augustine Prep have gotten better, Delsey have gotten better, Camden Catholic has gotten better. I'm not saying there was bad football, but like he did a good job there building that program up. And obviously,
I just had a visual image of like some South Jersey dude that's followed you since your time writing in
Oh,
the early 2000s.
piss off,
He
DeCarlo.
listens to the Scoop entirely because of like something you wrote about his little league team in 1999, and now he's like,
Day
God,
one, team
DeCarlo.
3.
Hey, I'm gonna be
Day
in
one, don't doubt DeCarlo.
I'm gonna be in Vineland tonight, meeting up with Steve DePatry again, the girls basketball coach at Wildwood Catholic. They have a scrimmage
he's a
at
listener.
HD. Yeah, so we're going to some Italian place in Vineland for dinner on my way down to the shore. So yeah, hopefully nobody in South Jersey who I pissed off is listening to the Scoop. But if they are, we thank them for that. But no, again, he did a great job at Rome. I think Kyle makes the best point there, which I know he loves to hear. And
Sometimes I wish this was like around the horn where we get a point for whoever made the best point. Can I just have a little graphic on the bottom? Kyle 9, Johnny 2 today, pretty good 2.
Thank
Declan
you.
1,
Thank you.
John 1.
1.
Yeah, you're taking a back seat. I see what you're doing. You're trying to force Johnny into this because it's your last episode. You want Johnny to take the reins. I see this.
I've been doing this
appreciate
for
it.
the last 2 months.
Yeah, well now it's
Go back
landing.
and
a little.
listen.
He's coming out of his shell. He was just a little turtle all up in there, a little scared to come out to the real world.
It's all
And now
about
the
team
water's
chemistry.
warm. The water's warm. He's peeking his head out. And we're seeing Johnny.
All I hear is that I'm in second place right now. I got 2 points.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody ever went broke taking a profit. Okay, just take the 2 points. Keep going.
I'm coming for you, Kyle.
Yeah, you can have it.
See
you just
Johnny's-
lost a point.
do you
Just
see
lost a point.
Johnny's face superimposed on a turtle's body? That brings me great joy.
Like Franklin the Turtle. Did you read Franklin the Turtle or watch Franklin the Turtle growing up?
Yes, yeah.
I did.
I was a big
Yeah.
Franklin guy.
Question number 2 from Off the Hook 3: Are the Harry Potter films considered Christmas movies?
Great question. Early ones are, I think.
Mhm.
I think apparently it is a thing in like England that they are considered Christmas movies because they are just basically like marathoned the entire time during the month of December. There's like what BBC 17 or whatever the hell they watch is just like constantly churning through Harry Potter movies. I think the beginning ones have more of a Christmas movie theme than the later ones. Later ones get a little darker.
But they all take place throughout the entire year, do they not?
Yes. But like the first one, he's just like, oh, there's little fruit cakes flying through the air and all this stuff, and everyone's so happy. And he just came from the slums, from poverty, living underneath the street, couldn't afford to eat anything. All of a sudden, he's got any food he can ever imagine just flying around them. People are lighting candles. They're wearing pointy hats in the first couple.
That's fair.
Then they changed directors, and they were like, you're gonna dress like American teens, and they were all just wearing like tight jeans and ripping darts and just going throughout their day. And then that became less Christmassy. But the first couple, I'd say up until Prisoner of Azkaban, so the first 2, Christmas movie. After that, no.
That's fair. I'm a big I'm very anti-genre. Like however you feel about a piece of art is how you feel. If you feel like it's a Christmas movie, who am I to tell you it's not?
Yeah, because like, what if I was just like, oh yeah, I watch True Lies every Christmas? That's a Christmas movie to me.
And then that reminds you of the season that gets you into the holiday spirit. Do your thing. Like that is fine by me. To me,
I would
personally,
agree with that.
I wouldn't associate it with Christmas, but that's just not my experience. You know, like if it's your experience, go for it. Do it.
Yeah, I would
Love
agree
that
with
for
that
you.
because it's not my experience either necessarily.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it is for an entire island in Europe. So.
Exactly.
In fairness, the UK is more than just one island. I don't want to just include
close enough.
franchise Northern Ireland.
Good save. Good save.
That's part of it.
Thank you
quick-
to our British listeners.
2 quick things here. I know this is a bad thing to confess.
I've never seen any of the Harry Potter movies.
I haven't. I just
Good, because you're not the target demo, John.
You got so aggressive with that.
I knew it
No
was,
time
was
like
going to
the
be.
present.
Every now and then, we could just boil down these episodes into John's old, Kyle's sort of old, the interns of the year aren't old. Like, that's what these come down to. We've been doing this for 10 seasons now. I get it. I get the repeat.
Play it again, Sam.
10 seasons, 30, 40 episodes. See, this is like episode 400 of this formula. I get it. You haven't seen it.
Kyle's breaking.
You want to talk about the Star Wars Christmas special? Is that more your
5 points?
Every day we come closer and closer to Kyle snapping on John on 3, getting another temple program.
Yeah, sure.
What was the second?
Anyway.
What was the second revelation you were gonna make?
I think the only other thing I was going to say is like It's a Wonderful Life kind of flopped at first, and it has Christmas stuff at the end, but a lot of it takes place like outside of Christmas. So I like that.
The one where he tries to kill himself on the bridge.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah. But it's not.
I made Jordan watch Home Alone last night, and he liked it, and he wants to watch it again this weekend, but he has no idea what's going on in that movie. Just no idea. I think in Jordan's mind, he views Home Alone as like, oh no, the mom left, and like that's all that registers is that kid is alone. He doesn't process like the 14 nut shots that Macaulay Culkin does onto Joe Pesci. Like he just goes on to like that kid's all alone. That's really scary. And at the end, the mom comes home and everything's okay.
It's one Joe Pesci movie you can show him where you don't have to worry about the profanity. And the next question from the screen name Blair A. Are the football players in the portal able to come back if Temple welcomed them back? Sure. I'm sure it differs for every single individual player. Again, Jamel Johnson's in the portal, right?
They would take him back in a heartbeat.
Yes, I'm sure they would take him back in a heartbeat, as Kyle said.
Basically, the second part of the question is the caveat, because I think just view it this way: once you're into the portal, you're giving up the guarantee of your scholarship, basically, or of your spot on the team. Where like if they want you back, they can take you, but if you want to come back and they don't want you back.
Right. Another longtime listener, Glenn, on Twitter checking in. How many kids in the Temple program are in the portal? Do you think they might not be playing somewhere next year? Glenn had a comment earlier in his first tweet where he essentially talked, and it's something we're talking about, that now so many guys, there are a group of guys that get into the portal hoping to transfer up. They sometimes end up transferring down or sometimes don't end up anywhere at all. It's hard for me to say like who doesn't end up somewhere else. Again, I think the guys that are in the portal all have pretty good shots of ending up somewhere. James Faminu did not play well at Temple, but somebody will probably take a shot on a big offensive lineman.
First of all, I view this as two different questions. He said, how many people are in the portal? If you're going off of scholarship players in the portal right now, because like I know some people are including walk-ons like Hugo Gill, the defensive tackle. He is a walk-on and he's in the portal. So for like simplicity's sake, I've only been keeping up to date with scholarship guys because I'm lazy, and that's about that. There are 15 currently in the portal. Will that number get higher? Yes. Is it going to happen this cycle or is it going to happen after spring? I don't know. But right now it's 15. Let's just say it gets to 20. There are some people I see on here that I go, okay, you're going to have to go like FCS, if not like at best. Like there's some guys you're like, you didn't play here and Temple was your best offer. You're not looking to all of a sudden parlay that into a Big Ten offer. So in the end, though, like who cares? Get a scholarship, find playing time, get film. The phrase I always hear is stuck in the portal. The last thing you want to be is stuck in the portal, where you go in and a year later you haven't played football in a year and you're still tweeting out spring 2023 highlight videos hoping somebody takes a chance on you. So there will be a couple of those, unfortunately.
Declan, Johnny, you guys want to read this next one? Our friend Evelyn checking in, one of our news editors at the Temple News. This was a nice addition to the mailbag. You guys want to read this one?
Sure. Evelyn Blower says, what's your favorite holiday? 3 minutes each, please. And what would you like for the holiday season? 2 minutes each.
I don't want to be timed.
I texted her. I said that was the best part of it. Like just like keeping us on task. 3 minutes each, please.
I saw that yesterday. I was like, that is impossible. Like, what are we going to pull out a timer?
She just asked for a 20-minute answer. She asked for 5 minutes for each of us.
Filibuster, please.
Yeah. Johnny, why don't you get us started on this one? What's your favorite holiday and what would you like for the holiday season?
And go.
For my favorite holiday, I think that there are many. No.
Christmas Dictionary defines holiday as.
There are many holidays that I like, but in my opinion,
let me power rank each holiday for you.
No, Christmas is my favorite one. I think just the overall vibes, and just I think it's always been one that I've liked more just from memories in my life. And then for what I'd like for the holiday season, I don't know. I haven't even given my parents a Christmas list yet, so they don't even know. So
Do you still give a Christmas list to your parents?
no, they just want yes.
He doubles down. Yes.
Yeah, first of all, appreciate that you went back and you're like, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna hedge this. Yes, I do.
I don't write like a list, but they ask me what I want, and I just say, oh, I don't know.
Socks.
So
Dash.
how am I supposed to give an honest answer on the scoop if I haven't even told my mom what
That's
I
what I'm
want?
saying. I do appreciate you doubling down on it and being like, you know what? I'm not gonna lie about this.
Why would I?
I go into Word and I type out, here are my power rankings of things I want, mommy, and off it goes.
So what if I did do that, Kyle?
No, I'm
So
saying
what if
I
I did?
appreciate it. I'm saying I appreciate it.
No,
I'm
no,
on
but
your side. I am on
this is
your
the
side.
issue, Kyle.
I'm on your
You're not. No, you're not, because it's the tone. It's the tone
Team
and how
Johnny.
you said it.
Johnny versus
you
everybody.
are not. You stopped me mid-sentence from what I was saying to say, you still send a Christmas list to your parents?
The OwlScoop Civil War is upon us.
I mean,
Oh, I bodied the Civil War.
Things are cracking at the seams.
I don't think there's any issue with that.
Dearest Martha.
How are my parents? How are my parents supposed to know what to get me for Christmas if there's just I don't give them anything. I don't give them a
Social
list.
interactions, knowing
Oh,
their
so they're just
son.
supposed to read my mind, Kyle.
No, but like that's like asking like how are you supposed to get gift ideas for anybody? You're supposed to think of them based upon what you think they would like, or maybe hints that they
Christmas
drop.
is
Or...
different than a birthday gift. Those are two different things.
Flesh that out. Elaborate that. Why do you think that a birthday gift is so much different than a Christmas
One's
gift?
Jesus' birthday.
Exactly. I didn't want to have to get into the
Are
semantics.
you saying
Kyle.
that you think birthday gifts are more personal than Christmas gifts?
Yes.
That's interesting. It's still just gifts to me. Like a gift is a gift.
But a birthday, you're not getting someone multiple gifts on the maybe you'll get like a couple different things on someone's birthday, but there's not like a whole plethora
Johnny,
of
you're past.
presents
I'm
at the
sorry.
door
You're
for
3
someone's
minutes are
birthday.
up, Johnny.
Yeah, and timer.
Have you been timing this? I didn't even get to say. Was this your plan?
I'm sorry.
Kyle?
Is somebody gonna moderate this? Can we cut his mic? Can we please cut his mic?
Thank you so
All
much,
right,
Johnny.
I give up. I give up.
We really do have. We have a lot to get to. We have a lot.
Gimmick. Get your own gimmick. You can't leave.
We have a lot to get to.
It's my thing.
He actually leave. He's coming back.
He actually left. He's
Okay.
probably coming back shortly. He didn't. If he shut the front door though, he's done for because he left his phone here.
Did he leave his jacket? Yeah.
He left everything.
It's cold out, man. It's like 37 degrees right now.
Well, a little inside baseball. You need your ID to log into or to get into this room, and he left his phone here. So I don't know.
And you can't abandon your station. Like this is
No, we're podcasting.
We're live.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, he's coming back. He's coming back.
He just went to go ask
There
his
he
mom for a
comes.
coat.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe ask exactly. Ask your parents for some more outerwear.
Making fun of you.
Are they really?
To answer the question.
What now? I'm done.
I think Christmas is the obvious answer, but I think I enjoy, being a father now. I actually enjoy once Christmas is like done, but it's not over yet. So like it's like the end of Christmas, like the evening of Christmas, or maybe the next day, and like everyone's on vacation, no one's going to work and everything, but like you don't have the hustle and bustle because that hustle and bustle can be stressful.
Yeah.
I'll say
I like that.
16-hour window from like 6 p.m. until like the next evening.
Declan,
I
what do you
like that
got?
answer. I like that answer. I have
Johnny,
always
what
enjoyed
notice
Christmas.
that Kyle? I'm so sorry, Declan, to cut you off. Johnny, just a quick note.
I cede my time.
Yes, Kyle seeded his time was well under the 3-minute time limit. So a little something to learn for the next time when Evelyn poses another mailbag.
Good for you, Kyle. Good for you.
He turned his mic all the way back
I
up.
did not. Will the committee acknowledge that I did not cede my time to Johnny? I ceded my time to Declan. We are nothing without rules. We're nothing without quorum.
No, it's nothing new. Me getting silence. Nothing new. Nothing new.
Yeah, what's going on with your mic?
Yeah.
He keeps turning it off and on. We had it all set up, and then he turned it off and on. So anyway, I would say I like Thanksgiving slightly more than Christmas. Surely I just like the food better. I enjoy the meals. But I would say what I want for Christmas, and I've already asked for it, fingerless gloves.
Is that a shot at me?
What?
Is that a shot at me?
What?
That you already asked for it.
No,
Sorry.
I'm just answering the
Sorry.
Do
question.
you just
Nice.
want like a good pair of gloves
My
that
bad.
you are gonna turn fingerless, or do you want like they are already stitched to be fingerless?
Yes, I would like them to already have been stitched because I'm about to be a commuter, so it's going to be very cold. But I'd like to operate my phone while also my
You know they
hands
sell
be
gloves
warm.
that have the thing in them.
Is that right?
You're showing your age here because that was a huge thing when like touch screens first came out, like whatever, 2009, 2010, whatever. They
Uh-huh.
sell gloves you wear on, but the thumb and the pointer will have like a special thread in it that mimics the human. This isn't a joke. That mimics
Interesting.
like
No,
a
I
human
believe you.
hand, so that way you can still touch screen using them.
Oh, that's
They're actually-
game changing.
Yeah.
So that
And
way
my
you can,
fingertips don't have to be
your
cold.
fingies
They're very
stay
quick.
warm, but then you can still do your thing.
That is nice. I mean, my fingertips don't necessarily get cold though. Like I've never had really an issue with, the top half of my hand. It's the back of my hands. It's like they get dried out and whatnot. So my mom texted me about a week ago and asked what I'd like, and I asked for fingerless gloves. And I don't know if she thinks that I'm kidding. I'm not. Like that is
You see
a
your mom
legit
just
thing.
be like, Mama Landis just like, for once, can he not do like a shtick? Can he not do
Yeah,
a
really.
gimmick? Can you just
Can
give
he
me a
be
straight answer?
serious for
And
once
you're
in
like,
his life?
I'm trying to give you a straight answer.
And I was being serious. I mean, I'm a funny guy, but that was genuine.
Declan, can we use this time to shout out your parents, by the way?
Oh God, I would love to. Yes.
Yeah. So speaking of Mama Landis, thank you so very much. A couple days ago, I'm about to head over to the Klein College holiday party at Pub Web, which was a great time.
You went to that?
Jack McCarthy, yes, Jack McCarthy, our facilities guy, sends me a text and says, "Hey, do you have time to stop over at Annenberg today? There are flowers here for you." And I said, "Sure." And I'm thinking, who is sending me flowers? So go to the holiday party, walk back over to Annenberg, and the Landis family sent me a very nice bouquet of like Christmas flowers. Very, very sweet, very nice of them, totally unnecessary. And just wanted to say a very heartfelt thank you to her for that. Just a very, very sweet move. So
I'll have
thank you,
to
Landis.
call my front desk receptionist. And mine have probably just been there for a couple days at this point, just filtering away.
I think she sent them to the Hall of Fame. So if you just pop over there when you can,
Our
I think they're at
facilities
the
are
front
top
desk.
notch. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Riggs was watching that over, right? Didn't he?
Oh,
He didn't
man.
tell you? Our
He's
guard dog.
asleep at the job.
Declan, did you have more on that answer? I just did not want to. I didn't want to let the moment pass without thanking her. I thought it was really nice.
Oh yes, I told her that you were very appreciative as well. No, I didn't have much else. I mean, I wanted to shout out fingerless gloves, even though now I feel betrayed by gloves that portray your fingers. So, I'm happy to see the rest of my time if I had any left.
Who do you see to?
Thank you, Evelyn. Probably you, I guess. I want to
Okay.
hear your answer. I
Yeah,
mean, we know your first answer.
Yeah, Christmas is my favorite holiday. Although I'd say the night before Thanksgiving, it's the whole season for me. Once it gets to Christmas and Christmas night, I already start to get like a tad sad because it's all just you guys know me. I'm not. I'll listen to a ton of music. If there's an extra spot in the house that doesn't have lights, I'll put it up. But yes, Christmas would be my favorite holiday. Miss my dad horribly at this time of the year. Not that my mom had nothing to do with it, but I am a Christmas lights and Christmas music nut because of him. So this is definitely my favorite holiday, definitely my favorite time of the year. Are we not? We're going I'm still going to get lunch at Reading Terminal Market next week.
We have several people under the impression that we are.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, Kyle was going to text you about that. Can you come with us next Tuesday?
Kyle, I thought you knew.
I thought you knew, Kyle.
Can you go? Can you go next Tuesday?
I was saying, I'm not even joking here. Out of principle, I'm going to say no now.
Kyle, don't
Kyle.
you dare.
Legitimately.
Kyle.
I've been doing
Kyle.
that. I've been doing that for 35
No,
years.
you don't.
You
not
don't.
right
You
now.
don't
Not
want the B-list invite. If
It's
you're the
not a
B-list
B-list
invite, just say no.
It's
Say you know.
not-
Like take it on the chin. Just say
It's not a
Sorry,
B-list
no.
invite.
Kyle, the only
Declan
thing
and
I
I-
want for my graduation is for you to attend our party on Tuesday.
You should attend the lunch, Kyle.
Attend our event.
Attend our event.
Please attend our event.
Please
No.
attend our event.
especially if it's like an event. Absolutely not.
Okay. You
That's
should
crazy.
attend the lunch.
No, like I'm saying, like is it more than like the 4 or 5 people on here?
I
It said
believe
many
it's the
people are under that
I believe
impression.
it's the people in this Zoom call. I think Caden's coming.
I don't know if Rymir can make it or not.
Yeah, Rymir is up in the
Yeah.
air.
B-list invite.
No, it's
If
not
you're
B-list
already
invite.
gone through all these other people, and then you're like, oh, by the way, we forgot to mention it to Kyle. B-list invite.
Not a B-list
Appreciate
invite.
it. Pass.
I had to
crazy.
figure out when a
Honestly-
meeting was. I have a meeting from 1 to
Appreciate it.
2. It's not a
Appreciate
first
it.
invite.
Could
It's
you
not a
even
first
like?
invite.
Could you even leave work?
If I pass this threshold in life, I just turn into a pile of dust. This is where I am cursed
I was
to
gonna
live
say,
the rest
like,
of my life.
I have never seen you in person, Kyle.
You've only seen
That's
me in this
true.
room.
As for the second part of that, what would you like for the holiday season? I promise I'm not trying to sound cheesy here. I can't think of anything. I'm the worst to shop
Peace
for.
on earth.
Close to it. I just want everybody to be healthy. I hate hearing about people's health issues. It breaks my heart, especially around this time of the year. I want everybody to be
Wow.
healthy. I want everybody to be
take.
happy. I want everybody to just take a minute to relax, to agree to disagree on things, to just relax, spend time with their friends and family, and that's all I really care about. I don't give a damn about what
I want to highlight both sides of the spectrum. We have you essentially wishing for peace on earth, and we had Johnny complaining that he had not yet listed out all the things that he wanted his parents to buy him. Is that a good? Is that an
Fight
accurate
back.
synopsis?
Fight back.
Me, I'm just here. I'm just in my little
He
blanket.
turned his microphone down, but I think he's starting the peace on earth trend already.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to follow what John wants for Christmas. That's all I'm trying to do. You know, John wants
Oh,
peace.
okay. So you're being okay.
peaceful. I'm being the bigger person, you know. Taking that one on the chin and just moving on.
I'm an
Wait,
experience.
what is that face for? What is that face for?
Oh,
Okay, Kyle.
I'm just here. I'm just a little guy, just listening to my scoop.
Well,
Scoop and
let's move on
soup.
to the last question from our friend Greg Payon. Evelyn, you're the MVP of today's podcast. Thank you so much for that question.
Yeah, you might have severed whatever progress Johnny and I had made over the past couple months, Evelyn, but I appreciate you.
Yes. Our friend Greg Payon, a former OwlScoop staffer, closing.
Also, Declan's last episode, you just called Evelyn the MVP. After all
Thank
Declan's
you.
given.
Crazy.
I agree.
Again, just like I said,
agree.
both things can be true. Declan can be the MVP
No.
of the pod. So
I
can
have just
I don't
2
think that's how
points.
that works.
They are mutually exclusive things. Only one person can be the MVP.
I have just 2 more points than she does today. Well, maybe she might have more than me now. We have checked the around the horn count.
yeah.
Which is ending. They're ending around the horn.
I know that's so sad.
It hasn't been good in a long time.
I know, but I used to listen to it on my
Yeah, I
iPod
used to watch it
Nano.
every day when I was like 14, 15. Yeah, I watched it every
Yeah.
day.
It was a great show.
Greg Payon, former OwlScoop staffer, checking in on Twitter as the leading Temple sports, lifestyle, relationship advice, romantic novel review, and holiday season podcast. Talk to me
This guy
about
gets it.
eggnog.
He does.
Is it good? Is eggnog good? Where are we as a society on eggnog in 2024?
You want to take this one, Declan?
I literally cannot. I literally cannot.
Eggnog will kill you, right?
I would pass away. Yeah. We've actually had an iteration of this discussion earlier today. I would die.
I've had it once before. I thought it was okay. I haven't had it in a while though. Been like 2 years, so I'd have to have it again to
Did you
do a
have
full review.
Did you have it with alcohol or did you have just eggnog?
Wow,
How many years ago?
I'm not
Johnny?
trying. This isn't entrapment. I'm
You
just
wanna go on
asking.
the record?
I was with family and friends, so it was not. Yes,
Hello,
it was alcohol.
911.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. It's grown on me. I'd say I didn't start drinking it until recently, but it's still very seasonal.
Yeah.
Seasonal. You put cinnamon on top of it. I do the Christmas vacation thing where I have the moose glassware, so you drink it out of the moose.
That's good.
Um,
Good. I'll tell you what I want.
I'll say there's like a day or two a year, usually around the Christmas holiday, where I get a little too torn up on eggnog because it sneaks up on me, and I realized, oh yeah, that wasn't just egg I was drinking. That was a significant amount of rum or whiskey or whatever, whichever way you go.
Isn't there that Pennsylvania Dutch brand where it has the alcohol already in it and you can buy it at like the PA Wine and Spirits store?
Yes. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking
Whenever you
about.
get something pre-mixed with wine and spirits, though, you're paying such like incredible overhead for a 3.5% alcohol drink.
Regular eggnog would absolutely destroy me and has destroyed me. I have to get like,
Almond eggnog.
yeah, I think it's Khalifa Farms. They make a very good eggnog. Like they make the almond milk stuff. It's like almond milk eggnog, delicious, very good. We usually try to have like a glass of it on Christmas morning, but yeah, I love it. Regular
Wait, did I
eggnog would
I accidentally just retweet somebody? Oh no, I didn't do it. Someone make a snarky comment instead. To kind of give credence to, you should be subscribed to OwlScoop.com. Football Scoop, the like premier thing, putting stuff out that we've had out there for 3 days. I'm just saying.
Way to go, football
Dominic Bowman going to Southern Miss. I have had that for 3 or 4 days. So subscribe to OwlScoop.com.
Here we go. Declan,
Agreed.
I don't want to believe that this is your last episode. I think we're going to try to find ways to get you back on the scoop, but maybe you won't meet us halfway on that. What are your final thoughts here? I mean, how do you want to be remembered on the scoop? I mean, this won't be the last time we see you, of course, but what do you want your scoop legacy to be?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. I'm
There you have.
perfectly content with being the guy that was here for a little bit. You know, it was an honor to be able to, be on shows with Caden and Vaughn, to cross paths with people like Sam and Dante, all the guys, Sam Newman, who I've only met once via Zoom. So just to be able to wear this hat and say I made a significant contribution to this outlet is a beautiful thing. And that's what I want my legacy to be. I was one of the scoop men, one of the scoop boys. That's all I want.
Part of the squad.
Yeah, some might call us a squad, and to them I say you're absolutely correct.
3 things to say there. 1, very, very nice and thoughtful. 2, I noticed you intentionally left my name out. 3, are we
I didn't get that.
overvaluing Declan? He did come into an established program. There was a good scoop here before him.
All I'm saying is check the numbers.
Yeah,
Men lie, women lie. Numbers don't lie. I'm
Fair
just
point.
kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm very grateful. Kyle, I love you. I love being on the show with you and seeing you one time in person and maybe one time.
Yeah, it was a good
next week.
time.
You guys had a lot of chemistry in the Link press box at the Miami game last year.
We had a lot of fun.
Wherever your world takes you, if you find your way to the one game a year I go to now, you can see me again.
We just gotta coordinate it.
Well, Kyle, the offer still stands. I believe
No.
next Tuesday
Pass.
we're going to go
Pass.
see some lights. I think we're going to try to see
You're
the
embarrassing yourself at
light
this point. I've
show.
already said no.
We will forcibly come to your house and
You're gonna go see lights? I thought you were going to Reading Terminal. You're gonna go to
We're doing
Miracle
both.
on 13th or whatever.
no, that's different. I am going to go see you guys have not seen Miracle on 13th Street? Between the 1300 block, between Tasker and Mars, great lights. No,
Can't say we have.
no, during the day next week, I think we're going to check out the Macy's light show, try to go see or eat, at Reading Terminal. So we'll come by to scoop you. We'll knock on the door.
Please
No, thank you.
Hop in.
attend, Kyle.
No, thank you. I'm afraid that I'm like Grandpa Joe. It's hard for me to leave my bed.
But all he needed was a golden ticket. And he was up singing
Are
and
any of
dancing
you
and whatnot.
inheriting like $100 million chocolate factory?
Who's to say?
I
Only
can't-
one
I
way to
can't-
find out.
I can't say that on the pod.
Well, Declan, we love you. Thank you for everything. I'll see you very soon.
Yeah, we're probably gonna have meetings for the next couple years.
Yeah,
So
Declan's graduating next week, and he's going to be an advisor for Klein College Media and Communication. Going to be working very closely with him, with the sports media major, the sports media certificate program. You're going to be doing some freelance stuff too, so
yeah, I'm
not goodbye.
University of Delaware coverage. It'll be fun.
Wait,
Yeah.
is that gonna be like that's gonna be your full-time job? Is you gonna be an advisor to
Yeah,
Klein?
full-time academic advisor, part-time radio producer, 94.7 WDSD.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very excited.
Check back with us next week. We'll have more on the latest football staff additions. We'll have more hoops to talk about. Maybe we'll kidnap Declan as well. Maybe we'll bring him back on. But if not,
That's scary. But
No,
okay.
I love you, Declan. We don't want Declan here. We want Johnny to blossom.
yes.
No,
Thank you.
that's
Thank
what I want too. I
Do you
want
guys
us to
think?
be
Do
the
you
new
guys think
Johnny.
you can get past what happened today?
I've already made my peace. I've tried to move past it, but I feel like Kyle keeps trying to just poke the bear.
Oh, no,
That's
no,
just
no.
not how we make peace. Is
I
Still
know this
poking
is
the
like-
bear? No.
I know this has been like jarring for you. This is a Thursday for me.
Yeah.
Like this isn't
No,
gonna
I'm-
register. When
No,
I
it's
see
not.
when I see it next, there'll be no animosity. It's all
No. There's no
Blank
animosity
slate.
here.
Blank slate.
Don't worry, Kyle. It's okay. I don't hold
You
a
got all
grudge
my
like some
love.
people.
it's all kayfabe, brother.
It's all right. We're all good.
We're
John's
Gucci.
trying to stir the pot.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
You
what
are an
happens next week.
agitator. You're like, hey, there was a stain on the counter, and you can't just put water on it. You gotta agitate it a little bit. You're the agitator.
Definitely.
I am the sponge.
What does
Who's
that
the
make me?
stain? Who is the stain?
Am I the same? Am I the same, Kyle?
We'll talk to you next week, guys.
I'll talk to you next week. We'll end on that note. Thanks for joining us for another episode. We'll talk to you next week.